Earning a living isn't work for Tuan Tran, it's an adventure.
I always had a passion for shrimping. I always loved the Gulf. For some reason, when I do this, I feel like I belong there.
Tran's family fished in Vietnam before they made their way to Port Arthur, Texas after the fall of Saigon. Tran's been shrimping since he was a kid, and he says predictions that the dead zone in the Gulf of Mexico will grow to a near record size is troubling.
Not good. It's not good.
The dead zone is an area of ocean where there's little to no oxygen. The phenomenon threatens marine life, including oysters that can't move out of the zone and shrimp as they move to areas with oxygen. With such a bleak forecast, Tran relies on his faith to stay hopeful.
We can only do so much and ask for his blessing. He'll take care of the rest. If I get worried just like Trey over JBS is saying, I won't have no sleep.
Trey Pearson over at JBS Packing runs a shrimp processing business in Port Arthur.
Very, very concerned as to what it'll actually do and how bad it really will be. We understand it's going to be real large this year.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration predicts the dead zone in the Gulf of Mexico to span nearly 20,300 square kilometers, not far from the record set in 2017. Scientists say nutrient pollution runoff from farms is the main problem. Severe flooding in the Midwest sent runoff from farms south down the Mississippi River and into the Gulf of Mexico.
That water comes out and it stimulates an algae to grow. Sunlight comes in, algae will get that sunlight, it will start growing, producing a lot of biomass, and then the algae does what algae will do. It lives and it dies, and then it sinks to the bottom.
The bacteria that eats up the dead algae breathes in oxygen and breathes out carbon dioxide. Once that oxygen in the salt water is depleted, the layer of fresh water on top doesn't allow oxygen from the atmosphere to come through into the salt water, causing the dead zone. That affects not only the level of oxygen in the salt water, but also the marine life in the area, including shrimp.
If they can move, well, they're going to move to other places, and maybe they're not so favorable places either.
It makes it a lot more difficult to transit the product. It changes the areas that the boats would normally fish in.
For now, Pearson and Tran can only wait to see just how bad the dead zone will be. Tran says God will provide.
He always seemed to carry us through the hard time.
And he says he will weather whatever comes his way in the months ahead. Elizabeth Lee, VOA News, Port Arthur, Texas.